night, and I'll be operating under the club call sign W0SRC. The St. Louis and Suburban Radio Club Tuesday night net meets here on the 146.85 repeater each week at 7:30 p.m. Central Time, and is intended to exchange information of interest to the greater St. Louis amateur radio community, and to maintain a condition of readiness by calling for station check-ins. All amateur radio operators are invited to participate, and please note that CTC SS code of 141.3 is required to access this repeater. For more information about SLSRC, including events and membership, go online to www.slsrc.org. Now, is there any emergency or priority traffic? If so, please call W0SRC. None. Here's the order of check-ins for tonight's net. I will start tonight's net with the question of the week. I will then ask for short-time check-ins, followed by echo link check-ins. While checking in, you're invited to answer the question. After our echo link check-ins, I will ask for regular check-ins. Following the regular check-ins, we'll open the net for comments and answers to the question of the week and swap net items. We will conclude the net with the amateur radio newsline report. Tonight's question of the week is, do you have a clothing, hat, or something with an SLSRC logo on it? I'll repeat it. Do you have a clothing, hat, or something with an SLSRC logo on it? Now, for short time check-ins, please check in with your call sign using standard phonetics and your first name. Short time check-ins, please call now.
Kilo Charlie 0 Sierra Delta Victor Cliff. The answer is yes. And Stephen, put me on for that announcement also, please. Thank you.
Whiskey 0 Foxtrot Yankee Joe. That's yes. Whiskey 0 Kilo Zulu John Showtime.
Kilo Bravo 0 Zulu Victor Bravo short time Mickey, and the answer is yes. Kilo Echo 0 Victor Yankee Delta Josh St. Anne, and the answer is not yet.
This is Whiskey 0 Echo Oscar Richard, and the answer is no.
Kilo Delta 0 Charlie India Victor Dolores, and yes.
Kilo Hotel 2 Oscar Papa Charlie in Baldwin, and the answer is yes. Back to that.
Kilo 4 Echo Quebec Dale, yes.
Kilo Delta 9 Echo Lima Uniform Eric, no.
Whiskey Bravo 0 Sierra Mike Foxtrot Larry, the answer is not yet.
This is W0SRC. Let's stop right there so we can review the check-ins I have so far. First up, we have KC0STV Cliff, and I have you down for an announcement. Then we had W0FY Joe, then WU0KZ, then KB0ZZB, then KB0YD, KB0BYD, then W0EO, and KD0CIV, KH2OP, then K4EQ, Dale, and then KD9, I can't read my own writing here. I believe it was KD0IU, then W0SMF. Any corrections there?
CID. I heard that one you kind of were having a hard time reading. I put down Kilo Delta 9 Echo Lima Uniform, and that was Eric. 80 CID.
Dolores, I'll correct that right now. There we go. Is there any other correction?
November 7, Quebec Oscar Sierra, Dave in Washington, and the answer is no.
Kilo Echo 0 Sierra Golf Uniform. Thomas in Cedar Hill. The answer is no. This is Kilo 8 Alpha Lima Lima. Start time, and the answer is not yet. Kilo Echo 0 Sierra Bravo Romeo Bill, and the answer is not yet.
Bravo 0 Whiskey Kilo Yankee Larry, and the answer is not yet.
Delta 0 India Echo Lima. The name is Tom. The answer is yes, but it's my SLSRC membership card to put on one that has our name and also. All members have that, I think.
Hold on, Thomas. I only got part of your call sign here. Will you repeat it for me, please?
Kilo Delta 0 India Echo Lima.
IDL. Sorry.
USL.
While pausing, I might as well review the rest of them. I'll have, first up, we have N7QO, and I'm not sure if that one is correct. The next up, we have N7QO. Can you tell me if that one is correct? I might have messed that one up.
It's November 7, Quebec Oscar Sierra, quick or slow?
For the correction, November 7, Quebec Oscar Sierra. Next up, we had KE0STU, Thomas, then K8ALL, Art, then KE0SBR, Bill, and WD0WKY, sorry, I'm having a hard time reading my own writing here, then KE0IDL. Is there any corrections? Is there any other short-time check-ins?
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Bravo Victor Tango Dell.
Kilo Echo 0 Quebec India November. John in Glendale. Answer is not yet.
I have KF0PVT and KE0QIN. Is there any other short-time check-ins before we move on to Echo Link check-ins?
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Alpha Charlie Foxtrot Jerry. The answer is no.
The person that just when I missed your call saying, here, please repeat it for me, please. My pen kind of fell down. Sorry.
That's fine. It's Kilo Foxtrot 0 Alpha Charlie Foxtrot.
Lima Charlie Hotel, confirmed.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Charlie Tango Romeo. Jeff, the answer to the question is not yet.
N0TCH and KF0CTR. Jeff, is there any other short-time check-ins or any corrections?
Correction, November 0 Lima Charlie Hotel.
Noted, N0LCH. Is there any other corrections or short-time check-ins? All right, hearing no more short-time check-ins, I'll move on to echoing check-ins. Echoing check-ins, please call in now with using standard phonetics.
Kilo Echo 0, Lima Delta. Larry, QTH, California. Good evening, Stephen. Thanks for joining the net tonight. And good evening to everyone. To answer the question, I have to say yes, it's in the mail now, but I guess I own it. I ordered a new T-shirt, which the group has made arrangements to be able to get, and I'm looking forward to it. This is KE0LD, back to net.
Thank you, Larry, and that does count, and this is W0SRC. And to be perfectly honest, I don't have any SLSRC gear, which I haven't really thought about till now, but now that I think about it, I really should get some, so maybe for Easter, hopefully, I'll ask some friends for some. Is there any other Echolink check-ins?
W0SRC, November Mike 5, Papa Bravo, Peter in Albuquerque. And other than the ID, I've got nothing. And then I just realized my ID has my call sign on it too, so I'll have to deal with that when I get back to St. Louis. Back to you.
Whiskey, 0, Delta, Tango, Mike, Travis. The answer is no.
This is W0SRC. We have KE0LD Larry, then M5TD, and W0DTM. Is there any other Echolink check-ins? We'll move on to stations with SLSRC-related announcements or announcements of general interest to the net. Please call W0SRC, and I'll call on Cliff first. So, Cliff, take the stage.
W0SRC, KC0SCV. Well, good evening, Stephen, and good evening to the net. I have my standard study guide announcement and BE testing announcement. Technician, general, and extra study guides available education@slsrc.org. It's email education@slsrc.org. And you can also go online at hamstudy.org, and you can download an app, and they have study guides and practice tests in addition to remote virtual locations that are available for VE testing. But locally, Cliff Cave VE team, actually they're testing this Saturday and again on the 20th, but go to cliffcaveve.com. That's cliffcaveve.com for all the information on time, location, and what you need to bring and everything like that. And the other part of the announcement is this Friday, March the 5th, is the last of our Back to Basics series that started in October and runs through March. And it'll kind of be a wrap-up of topics on amateur radio that have not been covered, or maybe like me, some of them I never heard of before. Other aspects of amateur radio, that will be by Kyle, A0Z, and it will include ham-WAN, satellite, digital modes, hotspots, SDR, contesting, QRP, and portable operations, and of course there probably will be some others too. And there was an email yesterday and also on the website, and I just remembered it's on social media, and I forgot to share it on STL Hams, but it's on SLSRC Facebook, so I'll put it on STL Hams too. I forgot to do that. That's this Friday, 7 o'clock. Google Meet. There's a link in the announcement email and the website, and also on Facebook. So all you have to do is click on it. And we hope to see everybody there this Friday at 7 o'clock. And Stephen, back to you. Thank you. W0SRC, KC0STV.
Thank you for the announcements, Cliff. Is there any other stations with announcements? Please call now.
W0SRC, this is KC0CBL. Call now. Kilo, Charlie 9, Charlie, India, Kilo.
First up, we have KC0CBI. Go ahead.
Flight correction, that's Steven. Charlie, Bravo, Lima. So, good evening to the net. Wanted to make sure everybody saw the news and saw the email over the weekend referencing the grant program that is now open. As you may recall, last year in the wonderful year of 2020, we did our first ever SLSRC grant, which was very well received. And this year we are once again doing another grant based upon the graciousness of a specific anonymous donor. So the grant this year is about a Anytone 878 DMR radio. It's a handheld unit. It is well known, brand new in the box, so it'll be quite the gift to be gotten. The process is to go out to the website, pick up the grant application, complete it. It is a PDF form just to be filled in. And then you will email that back to myself at Kilo Charlie 0, Charlie Bravo Lima, at slsrc.org. And the grant program is open until the midnight the 14th of March. So you've got, 12 more days to take a crack at it. Have gotten at least one submittal already, so I know it's out there and ready to go. I encourage everybody who has an interest in DMR to take a look at this. The grading on it is slightly weighted towards a newer ham, but certainly not to the exclusion of a person who really has a well-thought-out plan about how to use this and what their desires are on it. So I encourage everybody to take a crack at it. Come on, make us board of directors work hard that couple days we have to review it. So the more applications you get, the more time we're going to have to spend on it. So we're looking forward to getting a lot of applications and having fun giving that radio away. With that, I'm going to go back to that KC0CBL.
KC0CBL. This is W0SRC. And next up, we have KC9CIK.
Well, good evening to the net. I have a couple of announcements.
The first of which is we are doing a simulcast onto our YouTube channel, the St. Louis and Suburban Radio Club YouTube channel. Right now we are doing audio only. We may play with that down the road. But in there, I'm also trying to keep track of the announcements and putting them in the chat. The next announcement is based on the question. So, St. Louis and Suburban Radio Club has partnered up with Gold Medal Ideas, and you can now purchase SLSRC merchandise. All you have to do, there is a quick link on our website, the St. Louis and Suburban Radio Club website. Under quick links, it is the SLSRC logo merchandise. It's about 7 down, it looks like. And then my final thing is membership. You're going to hear me say that for a long time, probably. So if you enjoy what the club is doing, you enjoy being able to make use of the repeaters, you just want to help the club out financially as we maintain all of those repeaters and also some of the activities we do, please join the St. Louis and Suburban Radio Club. Again, that information can also be found on our website in the red banner under the store. And Stephen, that's all I have. I am a regular check-in, so I'll talk to you again here in a few minutes. KC9CIK.
Thank you, Bill. Is there any other stations with SLSRC of late announcements or announcements of general interest to the next? Please call now. None. The next meeting is scheduled for Friday, March 26th at 7 p.m. On YouTube. We will continue to meet online until we have permission to return to the Goldbug School of Nursing after COVID-19 restrictions are lifted. Again, that meeting is on Friday, March 26th at 7 p.m. It is now time for regular check-ins. Stations available for the comment period. Answers to question of the week and SwapNet items. And the reminder of the net. SwapNet is only for amateur radio-related items, including computers and accessories. Please check in with your call sign, standard phonetic, and your first name. 1 moment. Let me flip over my page. All right, regular check-ins, please call now. And Bill, I already have you down. So regular check-ins, please call now.
November 0, Uniform, India, Hotel, Eric in Hazelwood.
This is Kilo Bravo 0 Tango November Victor, Jeff in Overland, Missouri, and no to the question.
Darcy, are you still there?
WCSS, yeah, I'm still here. I was just looking over the call signs really fast. We have KB0PNV and KC9CIK, and so I might have got my call signs jumbled. I think I missed one of them. Can that person please call now? I think it was the first person that called in for regular check-in.
November 0, Uniform, India, Hotel, Eric in Hazelwood.
I wasn't sure if that was you or not. I got those mixed up with some echo link check-ins. All right. Bill, KC9CIK, you go first.
Okay, and I'm going to dovetail into my previous announcement about the St. Louis Suburban Radio Club merchandise. You are able to also put on your call sign on that merchandise when you go through the Gold Medal Ideal store. And for me, two items of news. I have now had my COVID shot number 2, and I am bundled up under a blanket since yesterday I got the shot. Today I got some chills, so nothing bad though. It's just I feel it a little bit today. And then my oldest son has announced that there will be a third harmonic, so we are expecting our first grandchild come August. So looking forward to that. Both Rebecca and I are happy about that, and he and his wife have officially announced it, so now we can start announcing it. And that's all I've got for the net. This is KC9CIK. Thank you, Stephen.
From Bill, next up we have N0UIH. Eric, go ahead.
Well, good evening, everyone on the net. This is November 0, Uniform India Hotel. Answer the question is yes, I have a shirt with the logo and my call sign on it. I got that years ago when Kilo Bravo 5 Yankee Zulu Yankee was running the club. First, congratulations to Bill and Rebecca on their future roles as grandparents. And we're getting ready at this QTH to take down the VHF antennas on the roof, since we have to get a whole new roof put on the house, and going to have to organize an antenna party at sometime in the spring. And we'll be planning on getting a new 2-meter sideband beam, and going to be moving some antennas around, also purchasing some new masts. And the biggest need right now I'm planning to look at is we get a new HF rig sometime in the next few weeks or few months. The ICOM 745 flew 2 weeks ago while I was calling CQ on 40-meter SSTV. So I'm getting prepared to make some changes to the shack. Right now the TV is on a J-pole, which I can pick up channels 2, 4, 5, 11, and 30 on. And the scanner's on a dual-band mag mount, but that does a great job picking up the nearby 800 megahertz truck radio system. So back to net control. This is November 0, Uniform India Hotel.
Thank you, Eric. And next up we have KB0TNZ, and this is W0SRC.
Thank you, KB0YUF. This is KB0TNZ. Actually, I meant W0SRC. Name is Jeff, and I'm in Overland, Missouri. And I'm just enjoying a new antenna that I have, a roll-up J-pole antenna. And should be making good to the repeater. And hooked up to my Yaesu FT4X radio. So I'm enjoying it. Trying to stay warm, but during the day it's nice weather now, so I get to wear my light jacket instead of my heavy coat. Back to net, WSRC, W0SRC, this is KB0TNZ.
We're coming through crystal clear, so that J-pole is really working. Is there any other regular check-in?
November 0, Quebec, Lima, Golf, Dennis, and Kirkland.
Dennis, you are up.
Yeah, not really much to say. I don't have any club gear. Frankly, I'm really can't believe how much I miss just going to one of our events. We can walk around and look at the tables and pick up a few odds and ends. But hopefully we'll be doing that back soon. We'd like to get some logo items then, perhaps at the call time. So just missed a short check-in time earlier, so I could just check in now before the news. Again, N0, go back in the Gulf, back to net control. Thank you.
Any other regular check-ins before we move on to Newsline? Any late or missed check-ins? Before we start Amateur Radio Newsline, a reminder to check the latest club information and amateur radio news at www.slsrc.org. Do not forget that you can also follow the club through Facebook and Twitter at www.facebook.com/SLSRC and at twitter.com/SLSRC. You're invited to attend the monthly meetings of the SLSRC at 7 p.m. on the fourth Friday of each month. The next meeting is scheduled for Friday, Friday, March 26th at 7 p.m. online. With thanks for editing to Max, K0AZZ, and to Kyle, AA0Z, for uploading Newsline. With thanks, here is Amateur Radio Newsline on W0SRC. Amateur Radio Newsline Report, number 2261, with a release date of Friday, February 26, 2021. To follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. Earthquake researchers partner with hams. Australian hams weigh in on a proposed license change, and it's time to think about nominating the Young Ham of the Year for 2021. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2261 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent, weekly amateur radio news and bulletin service. Now reporting from Picayune, Mississippi, here is Don Wilbanks, AE5DW.
In our top story for this week, a United States government agency is relying increasingly on amateur radio operators to further their understanding of devastating earthquakes. Ralph Squilacci, KK6ITV, gives us the details.
Ham radio operators are partnering with the U.S. Geological Survey in helping to report real-time details about seismic activity and earthquake damage, especially when other means of communication have gone offline. They're using the radio email platform WinLink to carry data from the survey's questionnaire-based system known as DIFI, for Did You Feel It? ARES members transmit the DIFI reports even if an earthquake has knocked down the region's internet. Receiving stations outside the earthquake region receive the data contained in the WinLink transmission and forward it to the USGS via their own internet access. The DIFI system gathers macro-seismic intensity data, allowing scientists to more accurately pinpoint where people felt the earthquake and at what intensity. Researchers also rely on the report's data to further their general study of earthquakes. According to an article on the website EOS, an estimated 90% of Di-Fi reports are sent by observers within the first hour of an earthquake. Hams can transmit the reports over VHF, HF, and even local high-speed mesh networks, many of which have the ability to interface with satellite-connected cells on wheels. Cells on wheels have proven useful in emergency response already during the California wildfires of 2017 and 2018. Aries is now promoting the Di-Fi protocol and training hams in California, Washington, Arizona, Hawaii, and Mexico. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Ralph Squillaci, KK6ITB.
Hams throughout Australia are being asked to weigh in on a fundamental license change being contemplated. John Williams, VK4JJW, tells us what will happen next.
As the Australian Communications and Media Authority seeks input on whether to replace amateur radio operators' apparatus license with a class license, the Wireless Institute of Australia has asked for feedback from members and other interested amateurs. The WIA's formal polling opens this week. The ACMA has stated that it would like to see the class license established. The license would be available without a fee and would not change any amateur privileges, but it would no longer ensure protection against interference. WIA President Greg Kelly, VK2GPK, wrote members calling the proposal, quote, a non-trivial change, unquote, saying it had long-range impact on amateur radio in Australia. In 2004, the ACMA's predecessor, the ACA, did not implement a proposed move for such a license. The ACMA supports the change, however, saying it hopes to reduce its regulatory burden and make costs more bearable for licensees. The WIA poll is available to all radio amateurs in Australia. A link to the online registration is available in the script of this newscast on the AR Newsline website, arnewsline.org. Hams who register will receive their copy of the poll in their email. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm John Williams, VK4JJW.
In the United States, another major retailer that was a mainstay for amateur radio operators is shutting its doors. Fry's Electronics, which did business online and at retail centers throughout the western U.S., announced that online competition and the effects of the pandemic were too much to overcome. The 36-year-old chain had 31 stores in 9 states, with 7 of them in California. Well, it was worth waiting for. A contact at last between the ISS and students in Denver, Colorado. Amanda Alden, K1DDN, has those details.
After dealing with strict COVID safety guidelines and numerous schedule changes, STEM students from John F. Kennedy High School in Denver, Colorado finally got the green light for their CUSA with Commander Mike Hopkins, KF-5LJG, aboard the International Space Station on Wednesday, February 24th. The successful telebridge contact was arranged using a relay station in Portland, Oregon, with David Payne in A7B as the controller. The last attempt with the school failed to take place because of a technical difficulty. During the 11-minute pass, students were able to ask 20 questions, ranging from the way COVID-19 has impacted space travel to whether any data collection done in space has helped an emergency situation on Earth. In late 2019, the JFK school partnered with members of Rocky Mountain Ham Radio and the Cherry Creek Young Amateur Radio Club, who mentored the students on the use of amateur radio communications to prepare them for their Earth contact. To hear the contact, visit YouTube at the link printed in this week's newscast script at arnewsline.org.
Friendship has many languages in amateur radio. Jim Meechan, ZLTVHF, tells us about one recent net that celebrated all of them.
Amateur radio operators in India, Bangladesh, Indonesia, and elsewhere checked into a special 90-minute friendship net held on the 21st of February, marking the UN Declaration of International Mother Language Day. The more than 100 check-ins came throughout Asia, as well as Mexico, Ukraine, and the United States via Echolink, while those in the Kolkata, India region connected through the local VHF repeater. The net had been organized by the Amateur Radio Society of Bangladesh and the West Bengal Radio Club as a celebration of cultural and linguistic diversity. The United Nations created International Mother Language Day in 2000 in the hopes of fostering multilingualism and a general appreciation for other languages. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF.
Speaking of languages, which ones do you speak? An online project by a YL in Russia has helped hams make their QSOs a little more multilingual. Ed Durant, DD5LP, tells us more.
Radio communication needs language as much as it needs good equipment in the shack. And now, many of the languages of amateur radio are more accessible than ever. A guidebook written 40 years ago by two brothers in Finland, Jukka, OH2BAD, and Mika, OH2BR, has been converted into an online interactive guidebook with the brothers' permission. Raisa R1BIG, a popular YL in Russia, well known for videos of her amateur radio journey, told Newsline she and a friend, who is an IT specialist, created the online guide over the course of the past few weeks. She said she was inspired by the brothers' original handbook, the Radio Amateur's Conversation Guide, which Yuka had shared with her 2 years ago. With one mouse click, you can now read and hear almost 200 ham radio phrases. 8 languages are available on the site, and more are in the works, including the next one, Polish, being recorded by Darek, SP3TLJ. Raisa herself recorded the Russian language entries, and Pete, M0PSX, is working on a new version of the English language sound files. Although English is still the predominant language heard on the band, imagine being able to call CQ 20 meters or ask, when did you first get your license, in Japanese or German? A link to the online guide can be seen in the printed version of this week's newscast script at arnewsline.org. For Amateur Radio Newsline, this is Ed Durant, DD5LP.
A New England ham's battle to put up radio towers is over, and at last he can start construction. Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, tells us what it took for him to win his case.
Zach Manganello, K1ZK, may well consider himself the recipient of a towering victory in every sense of those words. The longtime amateur spent the greater part of 2020 defending his proposal to install 2 radio towers on his property in the rural part of Vermont. Last summer, neighbors objected to his original proposal for the 84-foot towers, saying they were too high and were damaging to their views. Zach downsized his plans and tried again. He even conducted visual impact tests, floating a balloon to simulate the height of the tower to ensure neighbors' views would remain unaffected. This month, the Telecommunications Review Board of the town of Shelburne granted Zach the right to go ahead with 2 towers, one at 40 feet and the other at 60 feet, both supported by guy wires. According to a report in the Burlington Free Press, the local board decided to give its support to Zach's tower project after being convinced that having backup emergency communications in the neighborhood was a local asset. The report said the panel was impressed as well by Zach's willingness to share the educational aspects of amateur radio with the greater community. All this came as the hoped-for good news for Zach, a lifetime radio enthusiast since his childhood in Maine, and a ham since the age of 14. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
Time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the WD8IIJ repeater of the Steubenville-Weirton Amateur Radio Club on Fridays at 8 p.m. local time in the hometown of the late, great Dean Martin, Steubenville, Ohio.
You're listening to the Amateur Radio News on the W0SRC repeater, St. Louis, Missouri, 146.85 megahertz, the PL tone of 141.3. Echo link node 396.891, alpha 40105.
The Space Weather Project launched by the Hamside Collective has been getting some pretty prominent notice. Andy Morrison, K9AWM, is here with the details.
Amateur radio's volunteer space weather watchers have been getting some recognition from the pros lately. A February 9th article in EOS, Earth and Space Science News, gives a respectful nod to the Space Weather Sensor Network, created worldwide by Ham Radio Science Citizen Investigation, or Ham SCI, a collective created by Nathaniel Frissell, W2NAF. The article praises the crowdsourced data hams are able to collect from radio signals, as those signals are influenced by changes in ionospheric propagation. It was co-written by Nathaniel along with David Kazdan, AD8Y, and Christina Collins, both of Case Western Reserve University, W8EDU. EOS is a publication of the American Geophysical Union. The authors discuss how hams monitor what responses the Earth's atmosphere has to different solar activity and the activity's impact on telecommunications and electrical utilities, among other things. The article advocates increased reliance on what hams and their amateur stations can offer. Quote, they write, with open-sourced instrumentation cheaper and more plentiful than ever before, the time is ripe for amateur scientists to take distributed measurements of the ionosphere, and the amateur radio community is up for the challenge, end quote. With support from the National Science Foundation, HAM SCI has launched a personal space weather station project to support hams who wish to collect such data to be used in space science research. Publication of the article comes just weeks before HAM SCI's virtual workshop, which is being held March 19th and 20th. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Andy Morrison, K9AWM.
If you know a young radio amateur who can't wait for camp season, Jack Parker, W8ISH, has some good news for you.
Organizers have affirmed their commitment to hosting this year's Youth on the Air camp, even as campers from across the Americas who were accepted into last year's canceled camp are completing priority registration now. The camp is scheduled to be open in Ohio from July 11th to the 16th with COVID-19 safety restrictions in place. Camp Director Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, said in an announcement that a final decision will be made in April about whether the camp must be postponed for another year. In the meantime, applications will be accepted in March for any prospective campers who were not a part of last year's group. The camp will host a maximum of 30 youngsters. Neil wrote, quote, we are truly hopeful that we can proceed with the camp this summer. We have some exciting plans. We are also looking at an operating event in the summer. Stay tuned, end quote. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jack Parker, W8ISH.
Do these names mean anything to you? Chris Bro, KD8YVJ. Bryant Rascal, KG5HVO. Emily Stewart, KC0PTL. Caitlin Cole, KS3P. They're all past winners of Amateur Radio Newsline's Young Ham of the Year Award, which, since 2015, has carried another name, that of Newsline's late co-founder, Bill Pasternak, W86ITF. These award winners mean a lot to us here at Newsline because they make us proud of the generation we're watching grow and flourish. On Monday, March 1st, downloadable nomination forms for this year's candidates will become available on our website, arnewsline.org. If you know a young amateur 18 or younger living in the United States, its possessions, or any Canadian province, and they're devoted to radio and community service, visit arnewsline.org and consider making them your nominee. The award will be presented at the Huntsville Hamfest in Huntsville, Alabama this August. An adventurous group of radio amateurs has some big plans for a very small island just off the Australian coast. Can you say the expedition? That's just what Graham Kemp, VK4BB, describes for us here.
What does a group of Aussie hams do when they see the 100th anniversary of one of the last remaining manned weather stations coming up? Well, as the station is difficult to get to, located as it is on a very small 19-acre island, 450 kilometres off Cairns in Queensland, it wouldn't be a simple special event station setup. No, this has to be a proper de-expedition. The group is the Hellenic Amateur Radio Association of Australia, who have a long record of running de-expeditions. The location is Willis Island, which at number 38 is one of the more wanted locations for DXCC. The hams are hoping to use the call sign Victor Kilo 9 Whiskey, but if not allocated, we'll use VK9HR, the club's own call sign, from this rare Iota Island, OC007. If you're looking to add this entity to your collection, get ready for this Aussie team, who will be joined by some international friends heading out to the Coral Sea. They'll be on air 160 through 10 metres between November the 3rd and the 13th, 2021. For more information, check the URL given in the text version on the arnewsline.org website. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
In the world of DX, Gareth, M0MOL, is on the air as MM0MOL/Papa from the main island of Shetland for the remainder of February and into March. He'll be operating QRP with a portable setup. Listen for him mainly in the evenings, local time after work. Send QSL to his home call sign. The Pride Radio Group is using the special event call sign VI 2021 Pride throughout the Sydney Mardi Gras until March 7th. Be listening for operations on SSB and FT8. QSL directly to Michaela Wheeler, VK3FUR, or via the club log OQRS system. The Welland Valley Amateur Radio Society will be putting several special event stations on the air in the months ahead to celebrate the patron saints of England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. The first event will be for the Feast of St. David, patron saint of Wales. Be listening for GB0FZ between February 28th and March 2nd. The actual feast day is March 1st. QSL by EQSL, Logbook of the World, and by the Bureau Manager via G4XEX. Finally, have you ever dreamed of having the frequency all to yourself to make that one perfect, historic QSO? Well, it can happen on Mars. Newsline Space Cadet Paul Brown, WD9GCO, takes us there.
Talk about operating mobile. NASA's Ingenuity Mars helicopter, prepped to accomplish the first powered flight on that planet, has already achieved its first QSO. According to reports from NASA, the 4-pound helicopter, which is actually a drone, is resting comfortably in the underbelly of NASA's Perseverance rover, which landed on the Red Planet on February 18th. Its mission is to conduct a test of the first powered flight in the thin atmosphere there, where it is capable of achieving an altitude of no more than 15 feet or 5 meters. The tiny helicopter employs point-to-point wireless communication with the rover. A day after the landing, the helicopter sent its first message back to Earth via the rover by making use of NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, saying that all systems, including its power supply of 6 lithium-ion batteries, were working as expected. NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory reported that a downlink from the orbiter confirmed that all was well. According to NASA, it will be at least a month before Ingenuity makes its maiden flight. One has to wonder, though, is Ingenuity going to apply for a QSL card? And if so, does that go direct or through a bureau? I got to imagine he's going to need one for that Worked All Planets award. That's a lot of postage. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Paul Brown, WD9GCO.
With thanks to the ACMA, Amateur News Weekly, the ARRL, Burlington Free Press, CQ Magazine, CNN, David Behar, EOS, KCAL Los Angeles, MSN.com, NASA, the Ohio Penn DX Newsletter, QRZ.com, RACA, R1VIG, Southgate Amateur Radio News, shortwaveradio.de, space.com, Ted Randall's QSO Radio Show, the Wireless Institute of Australia, WTWW Shortwave, YouTube, YOTA America's Camp, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. Please send emails to our address at newsline@arnewsline.org. More information is available at Amateur Radio Newsline's only official website, arnewsline.org. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Don Wellbanks, AE5DW in Picayune, Mississippi, saying 7-3. And as always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2021. All rights reserved.
Remember to always check our website at www.slsrc.org. Now, is there any other... Remember to... I messed up here. Remember to always check our website at www.slsrc.org for the most up-to-date club information. And next, is there any other late or missed check-ins? Please call me. Tone drop, but no voice. Can that person try again? Hearing none, I will say 73s. This is W0SRC, and I will set the repeater back to normal mode. And this is W0SRC. Clear.